How did this guy go from being bullied in school to transform DJing into a stadium art form? And how did a cricket match accidentally trigger one of the wildest parties in British history? I'm Felix Leiter, welcome to Dance Tracks. This is the story of one man who completely broke Brighton one summer weekend and changed global dance music forever. But to understand how he did it, we need to go back to the 1970s. Quentin Leo Cook wasn't getting invited to house parties because he was cool. He was invited because his record collection was insane. One night, someone hired in a proper set of double decks. And for the first time, he was controlling the whole party. That was the moment that changed everything. He was soon running his tequila mobile disco business. By the early 80s, Brighton became his training ground. He spent 3 years sharpening his skills in real DJ booths, playing to up-for-it crowds in venues like the Brighton Bell. He worked part-time at Rounder Records, selling rare US imports to local DJs like Carl Cox and Dave Clark. But not every DJ grows up dreaming of decks and dance floors. Cook wanted to be a pop star like Donny Osmond. Then punk rock hit, and he loved it. In school, he formed his first band, Disc Attack, starting out on drums before stepping up as the frontman. In the mid-80s, he took a gamble. His old friend, Paul Heaton, had a band. They were heading out on tour, but they desperately needed a bass player. Cook moved to Hull and joined
Hello, we're the Housemartins.
And right then, he made a decision that would affect how he'd be remembered forever. He changed his name. Quentin had followed him through school like a curse. He'd become a target due to being compared unfairly to the flamboyant public image of Quentin Crisp. For a moment, he considered Ernie Cook, but instead, at the last minute, he felt Norman suited him better. In 1986, the band appeared on Top of the Pops for the first time, performing Happy Hour. And for 3 years, he thought he'd made it. A UK #1, fame, and loads of attention. But something wasn't right. Playing bass in an indie band wasn't the music he was hearing in his head. While the band toured, Norman was moonlighting, DJing at the Hacienda in Manchester and the Town and Country Club in London. He began producing, taking samples of breakbeats, pop vocals, and mixing them with anything he could find to create club-ready dance records. One of his earliest releases, The Finest Ingredients, came out under the alias DJ Megamix.
I'll get a load of this.
The indie scene didn't respect dance music, so tensions in the band built steadily. And after a drunken argument in a Dublin hotel, the Housemartins imploded. Just like that, his pop star dream was over.
Your chances of you ever becoming a successful musician are 1 in a million anyway. And I figured to do it twice just isn't going to happen.
Right here, right now, a quick word from today's sponsor. Doing the Damage is a DJ pool built for house and disco selectors, full of exclusive edits and upfront promos. If you're serious about your DJ sets, there's a discount link in the description or scan the code. And if you like the hoodie, this is some brand new Dance Tracks merch, links below. It's the late 80s, Cook's back in Brighton, and an old music industry contact makes a call. They need a remix of Eric B and Rankim's I Know You Got Soul. Working with Danny D under the alias Double Trouble, the remix explodes.
Time to get on up now.
Overnight, he's no longer that bloke from the Housemartins. He's the remixer everyone wants on their releases. When labels start asking for original material, Beats International is born. Their first single, Dub Be Good To Me, hits #1 in 1990 and spends 4 weeks at the top of the UK charts. Built on a bass line sampled from The Clash's Guns of Brixcles, resung from Johnny Donnell's Jam Hot.
Tank fly, boss walk, jam, nitty gritty. You're listening to the boy from the big bad city, and this is Jam Hot.
And covering the SOS band's Just Be Good to Me.
I don't care what you do to them, just be good to me.
Phase 2 of Norman Cook's music career had officially landed, but success comes at a cost.
I definitely kind of had ego problems after that. After, being successful twice, and this time it was me producing it and writing a lot of the stuff. I did actually begin to believe that I was talented rather than lucky, which is a very negative thing. I kind of lost it, turned into a bit of an arse, frankly. Turned into a workaholic, pissed a lot of people off, including a lot of my nearest and dearest. And then my wife left me, and a few of my friends pointed out what a wanker I was.
And at his lowest point, he considers walking away from music entirely.
I kind of fell to bits, and the music fell to bits as well. So at that point, I was actually considering becoming a fireman. Because I figured it's like the same as being a musician. You hang around for ages playing pool with your mates. Then you go and do something very exciting and glamorous.
Instead, he takes one last gamble. He tries MDMA for the first time.
Everyone was on the dance floor, and he was playing I'll Be Your Friend, Robert Owens, and it's just going, I'll be your. And everybody just suddenly got, everyone started smiling at each other, and then it eventually goes, I'll be your friend. And we all just kind of hugged each other, and I'm like, right, I get it now.
His creativity returns, and from that passion, freak power is born. Turn On, Tune In, Cop Out becomes a cultural moment after a Levi's advert launches it into the mainstream. But once again, the second album stalls. Behind the scenes, he's already moving on. New aliases and new sounds. When Pizza Man and Mighty Dubcats records start outselling the band, he's gone. And then Fatboy Slim. An alias he initially hides behind, but one that will eventually define his life more than any other. The logo, hand-drawn by skint label boss Damian Harris, appears on the floppy disk that contains the first Fatboy Slim album. But where did that name come from? What's the real story behind that famous alias?
This is my list in my little notebook of my favourite blues singers. I really like pre-war blues, and they all had really stupid names like Bo Weevil Jackson and Pegleg Howell and Petey Wheatstraw. And if you were a fat blues singer, you would be called Slim. So there was Pine Top Slim, Memphis Slim, Iceberg Slim, Bumblebee Slim, Lightning Slim, Magic Ball Slim, Watermelon Slim, Fillmore Slim, and Fatboy Slim sounded like the oxymoronic blues singer who could never exist.
By the mid-90s, London's club scene is shifting. Norman is DJing and partying hard, crossing paths with the likes of John Carter and the Chemical Brothers. And from that scene, an exciting new sound begins to emerge.
It was like this new thing, and we didn't have a name for it yet. It was this new thing of like people who'd grown up listening to hip-hop, then gone to house, but then got a bit bored of house, so kind of wanted to mix the two, put the fun back in clubbing and whatever.
But the real spark comes back in Brighton. In 1996, Cook launches the Big Beat Boutique. Tuesday nights, only £4 on the door, and it's absolute mayhem.
You're at the Big Beat Boutique. I'm one of the resident DJs, and apparently we are the underground club of the year.
Held at the original Concord Club, with Fatboy Slim at the controls and nobody to keep him in check. The only problem? He doesn't have enough records to fill his sets, so he makes more at breakneck speed.
By now, what I'm doing is just mixing the hooks from pop music, the anarchic spirit from punk, the breakbeats from hip-hop, and the acidy energy from house music.
Praise You, Right Here, Right Now, and Gangster Trippin'. This time, the second album wasn't a problem. It was a monster. You've Come a Long Way, Baby drops in October 1998. The cover, a mysterious photo from the 1983 Virginia Fat People Festival that Norman had seen in a Guardian article. And the title was borrowed from a pair of boxer shorts quoting a US cigarette brand's marketing slogan. The industry scrambles to name the new sound. Trip-hop, Brit-hop, none of them stick. That's because genres aren't named by journalists. They take their names from the parties and the DJs that create them. Chicago and Frankie gave us house. New York and Larry gave us garage. So it's only right that Brighton and Fatboy Slim give the world Big Beat. The final piece of the puzzle clicked into place backstage at Tea in the Park Festival, Scotland. Watching the Foo Fighters tear the stage apart, Norman asks himself, how do I follow that? He walks out on stage and something inside him shifts. Fatboy Slim becomes Captain Showboat. He channels the energy of Mick Jagger and Liberace on acid. And from that moment on, every show is a performance. Norman Cook turns DJing into a stadium sport.
Right about now.
In 2001, Channel 4 uses Brighton Beach for an outdoor screening of the first Ashes Test match. Predictably, England lose the cricket game.
Victory in this opening clash of the 2001 Ashes.
But afterwards, Fatboy Slim throws a free after party. 40,000 people turn up and dance late into the summer night.
The council absolutely loved it, said this is what Brighton's all about, doing things like this. The police loved it because they thought it was hilarious and everyone was really well behaved. All the sort of local traders loved it because people spent tons of money. But I do remember when I came off stage, so elated, I just hugged my manager and said, my God, it just doesn't get any better. How can we ever top this?
The answer came even quicker than Norman could have expected. The following year, it's happening. Big Beach Boutique 2.
There's still something a lot more like the hands in the airy beautiful. Probably edit their version down because it's a bit long. It's kind of, there's too many gaps in the middle. Edit it down and then just overlay that. Overlay that all over it.
Authorities expect 100,000 people to show up, but Brighton has other ideas. The weather is perfect. Clear blue skies and blazing sunshine. The hype is undeniable. By 9 a.m, an estimated 30,000 people are already on the beach. By midday, Brighton is overwhelmed. Roads closed, trains packed out, queues everywhere.
I could see from the police's faces, they're like, we are overwhelmed here. So I was like, okay. So I've prepared myself, maybe people like, it's going to be snatched away. I think they took me into one of the porter cabins and they sat me down and said, right, we're going to go ahead with it, but only, and I said, only because it's more dangerous not to do it.
By the time Norman steps on stage, around 250,000 people have descended onto the seafront. And for a few glorious hours, it works. But when the music stops, reality returns. Brighton can't cope. Transport systems collapse and thousands are stranded on the seafront overnight. The cleanup teams are overwhelmed and the beach is a disaster zone. Eventually, the rubbish is collected, the smell is washed away and the crowds have gone. But sadly, not everyone makes it home from the party. A man in his 40s suffers a fatal heart attack on the beach, and an Australian nurse, Karen Manders, later dies after falling from the promenade. Norman reaches out to her family.
And I spoke to her mum and I just said, look, I'm so sorry. And she said, don't worry, it was going to happen. She said she phoned me early that night and said, I'm having the best night of my life. And she said, thanks for making the last night of her life the best night of her life, which really kind of got me. But yeah, I still feel, because I was the reason she was in Brighton that night, I feel somewhat responsible for her death, and that will always be.
authorities respond swiftly. Free, unticketed events on that scale will never happen in the UK again. And it's another 20 years before Brighton Council allow Fatboy Slim to DJ on the beach again.
They know what is what, but they don't know what is what. They just struck. What the fuck?
This time though, it's fenced off, ticketed and capped at 9,000 ravers. Of course, there's countless other chapters in Norman Cook's career, but no matter how many festivals he headlines, no matter how many records he sells, he'll always be remembered for one extraordinary weekend when a generation, a city and a DJ collided. If you were at any of the big beach boutique parties, I'd genuinely love to hear what they were really like. And if there's another DJ whose story you think deserves this treatment, let me know in the comments and I'll add them to my list. Thanks for watching and drop me a sub if you enjoyed it.